tonight we got relationships. Got the great Leslie O right here. So y'all got to tell us like a title. 'Cause we're going back and forth with 1,000 names and shit. But you got the great Leslie O right here, and we talking about relationships.
Men and women,
So my thing is this:
perspectives.
what's the problem with communication amongst black men and women? Not everybody, black men and black women. What's the problem with the communication?
Well, I would say our communication issues are rooted in how we're brought up and how we are taught or not taught conflict resolution, how we speak to each other, what's normal and regular in our styles of communication based on our households. There's a lot of households where shouting and screaming and cussing in a very aggressive way and threatening is normal. So if that's how you grow up, then when you get with a woman or you get with a man, that's a lot of times going to inform your communication style. Whereas if you grow up in a house where you didn't see your parents talking like that, and the only time you got yelled at was like there was something seriously wrong, that's going to affect your or inform your communication styles. So that's why it takes us back to really making a choice about the people that we get with, not just falling into relationships and situationships because we thought somebody was cute and we wanted to have sex and we wanted to keep having sex and we wanted to, I'm gonna keep it a bean, and we wanted to keep having unprotected sex. So if now you're my boyfriend, then it's okay for me to have unprotected sex with you. I don't know nothing really about what informs your decisions. I don't know anything really about how you move romantically, sexually in life. I don't really know anything about your morals. I don't know how you were brought up. All I know is whatever place that I met you at and how you made me feel that night, how you sound on the phone, how you text. What you got your own brand, or you wear museum, or you wear Madness, who you're affiliated with. Are you a notable? Are you a street dude? Are you a city dude, like a city worker? That's the extent that people really be knowing about each other before they fall into these relationships. And then you just in it. So then when conflict arises, that's when you know how that person deals with it. And sometimes it's too late by then.
So at what age, at what point do you become what you want to be, as opposed to, because at some point in time we all realize some things, and I don't want to use the word like saying it was wrong, but we just don't want to be a part of some things, and we've grown on to bigger and better things. So at what age and point do you let that go? Do you even, first of all, is recognizing it, right? That you have these issues. So my big thing is communication. That's what we're talking about, right? At what point of age do you have to become accountable for your, whether it's anxieties, whether it's your anger issues, post-traumatics, like whatever, it's like, it's a lot of things that come into play. At what point in time do you become
the age of adulthood? You are responsible for your physical, emotional, verbal, romantic presentations and social interactions with other people, whether it's casual, professional, romantic, or familial. It is your responsibility, right? Even though our past and our upbringing and our environment inform these things, it is your responsibility. Okay, so that's one thing. But just because it's your responsibility doesn't mean that you're good at whatever that responsibility is, right? But one thing that I have always agreed with is this idea of positive and negative reinforcement. And so I think one of the big problems with the bad behaviors that we see, that we get from people, is that there were not enough negative consequences from individuals that they were with to deter them from that action. So if I am a woman and when I get upset, I belittle you and I demean you and I say, you ain't shit, you ain't this, you think you that, and da-da-da-da-da, because it makes me feel good to put you down because I might have felt like you put me down, so I'm gonna get back at you. Whatever my reason it is, but that's the way that I communicate. But if I did that with most of the guys that I dealt with before and they stayed with me, that's positive reinforcement. That means I should continue that behavior because I am getting the desired result, which is a continued relationship with that person. Never mind that it's filled with a bunch of, you know what I'm saying, nonsense and drama, but you're still here. And my requirements are so low that just you being here is enough for me to feel like I got a victory. Whereas we have to start being strong and denying our immediate gratification when it comes to sex, when it comes to wanting to be praised, when it comes to wanting attention from the opposite sex. We have to be okay with not getting that. You have to be able to, because I'm including myself in that, we have to be able to shut people off when they're not doing the right things. And you can say, hey, this is, whether it's a war like this, I don't like the way that you do this. This doesn't work for me. I'm not going to be with somebody who talks to me like this, who puts their hands on me, who treats me like this, whatever the case is. No. And then stick to it. So that in and of itself is hard because a lot of times we will deal with some stuff because we're holding on to the little slivers of the good parts. I know he loves me. Oh, but when I'm in his arms and it just feels so good. And then he's just whispering in my ear and I just feel so safe. And I know Moon's not gonna let nothing happen to me. And I'm gonna hold on to that. So then when fast forward and you talking to me crazy, I'm gonna get through that moment and then it's just gonna be okay.
So here's the thing with that. Talking to you crazy, right?
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing with that. Some people, I don't know if they've been shamed, belittled, whatever they've been through, but if you're doing something, and this is something that's a problem for you, and I bring that to your attention.
You're doing something and it's a problem. If I'm doing something and it's a problem for me,
Right.
I'm doing it, it's a problem for me.
Right. So let's say that you go into it with your supervisor at work, right? And you get into it with your friend, right? You get into it with your sister. Right? You're here beefing me, and let's say, hey, what's going on? Like, you might want to calm down a little bit. You've been tripping. That right there is like an attack. I'm putting you down. I'm talking bad about you. How do we correct that communication level when you're trying to tell a person that you care about and they taking it as, I don't know if it's like it's an insult or I don't know if it's an excuse, to get around what they doing. They don't want to hear about themselves. I don't know what it is.
I'm gonna be honest about what I think. And what I think is rooted in obviously how I was brought up, what I observed, what I experienced. Plus, I used to want to be a psychologist. So in high school, I majored in behavior and social sciences. So that's where I got that whole positive, negative reinforcement. That's where I got 0 to 7 is the most impressionable time of a human being. I got all that from psychology and all that, right? What I would say is 2 things. One is this idea of meet people where they are. You can meet that person where they are and say, hey, I hear you that you're receiving it this way, but this is what I'm saying with you. This is how I need for this to go in order for me to feel comfortable, in order for me to feel safe, in order for me to be in a happy, healthy relationship. So you have to get on board with that. You have to respect that. And in turn, I'm going to respect you because here's the thing is that you're not asking for somebody to allow you to disrespect them. You are demanding for someone to stop disrespecting you. So if they are unable in that moment, in that time, or in that little, whatever time that you designate to like, oh, okay, have that self-reflection, then that's when you have to start. That's when we have to put people on pause. That's when we have to give distance. That's when we have to let go of that immediate gratification where we're so used to sleeping with that person, we don't want to sleep in the bed by ourselves. But y'all, you need to take a break. Because when a person, I really believe that when a person doesn't suffer from something, doesn't suffer a consequence, doesn't know how to go without, they don't really value or learn lessons that they're supposed to learn that they didn't get
Can
at
you
the.
learn from somebody else's mistake?
I used to, well, I used to think that that's something that we should all do. But what I've experienced is that that's not what most people do.
You gotta go through it.
I've gone through some things, but I've also just went ahead, like it was somebody that different elders or people that I trust, I respect their mind. And so therefore I respected their opinions. And they were like, man, one thing you shouldn't do is such and such. I didn't feel like I needed to go and see for myself. I just went ahead and took that person's advice. But there's other things that I might not have gotten specific advice on. So it was just open sesame whether I went and, sought it out myself. But I think that most people are skeptical of other people. They don't want to listen. They think that they know better or they know more. Even children, even teenagers, especially, they come into this phase in life where they have their own opinions and their own outlook on things, but it's like, brother, as my cousin always say, brother, you've been alive for 16 years. You've been alive for 1/3.
Is she African? So you gotta think of the accent when she talking to you. You know what I'm saying?
So 1/3 of the time that I've been alive. So for you to question my advice is disrespectful. And it's funny because I be, sometimes how you comment on stuff on Instagram. So one of my friends sent me this video. My son said he thinks that it might be AI, but sends me this video, or fake, sends me this video of basically it's an African family. They're West African. It might be Nigerian, but they're West African. And it's somebody's holding the camera, but basically it's the wife and then the auntie of the wife's husband who is like shouting and smacking her girl in the face and shaking her and like, who are you not to greet me when I come in? Who are you not to greet me? And then the uncle was in the back room like, yeah, like, like this is crazy. And so you're just hearing all of these different people with their, I wish somebody would come in my house and da-da-da. And it's like, but see, you don't understand culture. And in a lot of cultures, certain things are just so ridiculously unheard of to Americans that I'm American and Nigerian, so we look at it like, what? Who you talk that? But if you go to any number of countries, the majority of the countries in the world, you cannot walk into a room when there's other people there and not speak. You definitely, or they come into the room, you definitely cannot walk into a room or elders come into the room and you don't greet them. It's just not done.
Disrespect.
It's just not done. And it's so severe of a disrespect that a person looks at you like, who raised you?
It was like that in my house.
So there you go.
Used to say speak.
There you go.
She said, what they were wrong with
What's wrong with you? Exactly.
It was in my house.
And it's so many people that is, so these are these different things, right? That we're brought up with that are of high importance. But what if we come together? So that's something that we match on, right? But what if I got something, so that's high importance to me and it's low importance to you. So then now what happens?
Boy, it's a problem. That's a problem.
Then when our families come together, you pissing off my mother, my brother is looking at you sideways. You see where we're going with this? So that's why we got to go back to getting to actually know each other and actually talking about these things that make us who we are. I don't see a little green light on yours. Okay.
So let me ask you this. When you talk relationships. So here's a guy. We talking real life shit. Here's a guy. He's a good guy. Came up in the city.
Mm-hmm.
Got caught up at a young age as a teenager. Went to prison.
Mm-hmm.
Came home. He did a lot of time. He come home.
As a grown man.
Grown man.
Mm-hmm.
Out here trying to find his way.
Mm-hmm.
talented, gifted, don't know his route yet.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to find jobs, whatever, find his way.
Mm-hmm.
And he like you.
Mm-hmm.
Women always talk about, listen, I ain't got time for that. I've been dealing with broke niggas. I ain't with shit together. You know, it's always about finance, right?
Mm-hmm.
But women always crying about they want a good man.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a firm believer. You need to stay in your weight class. Stay in your
Equally
tax
yoked.
bracket.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a firm believer in it.
Okay.
But I'm also
What you mean by that though? Is when you say you need to stay in your weight class, are you talking about men and women together, or what do you mean by that? The weight class.
I feel like
Cool.
if you're a man or a woman and you're taking care of the other person,
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree.
Okay.
To a certain extent. Let me explain what I mean
Okay.
by that. We talking about a guy that's coming home broke, that's starting out struggling. His goal is to buy the house, the cars, and all of that. This is
Right.
stay as a man.
Right.
But I'm just coming home. I'm out here, I'm working. I could take you out to eat twice a week, buy you a gift.
Mm-hmm.
I could save for 3-4 months. We could take a trip.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I got to offer right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is that good enough for you?
Me as Leslie Olabisi?
Yeah, because we talking about black women and relationships, right?
Oh, okay. Well, whatever a man is able to do that I respect and I like is good enough for me. I don't come from a place where if we're not married, I don't come from a place where you owe me any level of support, financial support, meaning I'm responsible for taking care of myself. And I believe that anything that a man does for you is a gift and is from his heart. You cannot put an expectation on how somebody gives. That's how I see it. That's one of the issues that I've always had with Christmas and the way people are with their expectations of certain types of gifts. But I will also, well, I'm gonna put a period on it. And I will also say, I think this goes back again to the discipline in saying no. I think you shouldn't be trying to date anybody. Focus on getting your hustle and all the things that you want to do and make friends. Be friendly with the women that you want to be friends with, and then give as you feel moved to give that friend, whatever that looks like.
But if you like the girl, or you want to
So
spend
then
time with her?
So again, it goes back to delayed gratification. And this is what I'm saying. We want everything now, even if we don't have all the parts that everything may or may not require, but we want all of it. In my opinion, being with somebody doesn't mean that you're spending money all of the time, especially if your bigger goals are to attain property, any other number of assets where it takes time to acquire. And then how you acquire it, what method, depending on what type of careers you're in, you're gaining money in different ways at different rates. No woman can come and tell you that a few years of walking around that you should be doing something that people have been walking around for the past 30 years. It does not add up. It's an unrealistic, unfair expectation to place on somebody. But you're placing it on yourself too. You don't have to move in the way that so-called society has deemed that you have to move. You don't have to do nothing, Moon. All you have to do is stay black and die.
No, for real. No, for real.
So, I mean this. You don't need a relationship right now. Not a like an official romantic, this is my girlfriend, you don't need it. Now, I'm not saying you can't. I'm not coming from a judgmental place, though I am a judgmental person. I always say that. I wear that like with a badge of honor. I wear that with a badge of honor because I think it's fake and phony for people to be like they not judgmental. And they do that whole, they do that whole, only God can judge me, and let he who stone first, throw the first cast not sin him. Listen, we judge. That's how we survive. That's the air. That's how we survive. That's how we apply our discernment and our, how we decide who's going to be around us, who's not. We judge, right? But I would say that any woman that's making you feel less than is not the woman for you. You need to get with someone with a different mindset. But again, if you just said this person, this good guy who just came home, it's only been a few years, trying to find his way, haven't quite, that's where your attention and focus. Men need purpose. Everybody needs purpose in life, but I think that men and women, our purpose can be a little bit different, similar, but slightly dependent. But your purpose, your purpose is what wakes you up in the morning. It's what gets you out of the bed and be like, all right, I'm about to go get it. So when you're still figuring out exactly what that looks like, if you don't have like a straight up cheerleader, like rah, rah, shish, boom, boom, let's go moon, yay, moon, whatever you want, I'm with it. If you don't have somebody like that, you don't need nobody, because the time is too sensitive, it is too critical for you right now.
So let me ask you this then. So I meet you. You think I look nice, think I dress nice, took you out, we had a good time. How long I gotta wait to have sex?
You talking about with me? Or like, I'm saying, are you talking about just like any man in general?
You met a man, you like him, y'all went out.
How long do you have to wait to having sex with me is not about a time period. It's about a point. What's the point? What's the point of me having sex with this person?
You like him.
That's not enough anymore.
So what it got to be to get that point? How you reach that point?
I'm only having
Let
sex
the men know how to get to
I'm
that
only
point.
having sex with somebody that I'm considering being in a relationship with. My goal is I want to be in a loving, healthy, happy relationship and get married again. That is my goal.
All right, I just
So
met
if
you.
there's a man, see,
I just
but hold
met
on,
you.
let me finish. So if a man is looking to, I just saw this quote from Eartha Kitt. She said, I met many men who wanted to lay me down, but none that wanted to lift me up. If there is a man who has a similar desire as I do, well then, boom, then we're in sync, and then it just becomes a matter of flow. But it's not just gonna be, oh, we went on a date, oh, we went on a food. I don't need anybody to feed me.
So what, because it is a big gap in communication, definitely, amongst Black men and Black women. They say that it's not in the Asian communities, it's not in the white communities, right? They say it's not in the Indian community, right? It's in the Black community. So my whole thing is about communication amongst Black men and Black women.
I'm gonna ask you this question. I'm gonna ask this question again.
Well, before you get to the question, I don't believe that that's true, that there's not issues in all of these other communities.